Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. We're going to walk in here along the Kankakee River for a little ways, and then we're going to dig a pump ditch for a friend of ours. My dad and Don have been friends for years. They met in welding school and they became friends, and got kind of a funny story about that, and I'll talk about that later on. But we are north of 30, about, I don't know, two and a half miles maybe, for those of you that know this area. And this pump ditch drains Don's family farm. Him and his son farm the farm now, and they wanted this ditch dip, so we're going to go ahead and dip it. It's not a very long ditch, maybe a quarter mile or so it's not going to take me very long to do it. I got some things I want to finish up this afternoon. I want to run the crow's foot packer over the hay ground that I just planted yesterday, because I was really hoping we'd get a little more rain than we did last night. We're supposed to get a lot of rain today, but haven't seen it yet. It's pretty windy out. Unfortunately, I wanted to bring the drone today because this is a pretty nice open area, and I was going to fly the drone while I dig and get some drone video digging. But as you can see, we got white caps out there on the Kankakee River, so it's pretty windy today. And it is Good Friday, so they did say we were going to get a storm on Good Friday, so we'll see what happens. Said we're supposed to get some hail and stuff. Let's see, I think I'm going to start digging right here. Not exactly sure which side of the ditch I should be on. I don't know if they ever specified. Let me ask Dad real quick. He's coming back here too. Well, executive decisions were made, and we're going to stay on this side of the ditch. It really don't matter. It's farm field anyways, except that one little section there through that little swamp. So I'll just stay on this side. I'm already here. Forgot my sunglasses I was going to bring today. My future mother-in-law got me some of them Raybirds or Raydons or whatever that brand of sunglasses is. Raybans, or no, Ray-Bans, yeah. Got me a pair of those for Christmas. Forgot I had them sitting on top of my dresser. I was gonna grab them and try them out. Let's dump this dirt out real quick. We're digging dirt out, we're not putting dirt back in. So, let's see if I can take a little dip down here in this pump structure. It's just an old tank car, it looks like. See if I can get some of them weeds out of there for them. I think my bucket will match kind of the curvature of that. It's a little bit flexible. Oh yeah. Make a nice little dipsy poo out of there. There we go. The pump's keeping its end sucked pretty clean, but I was gonna dig this a week or so ago, but they had an issue with the pump. Capacitors or something were an issue, and the pump wouldn't run. They got that fixed, and they got the pump running again. Nice little piece of driftwood in there. Take that, put it on Facebook Marketplace, get 500 bucks out of it. It's amazing some of the stuff people buy. You take two pieces of 2x4 and put a nail through them, you'd be surprised what somebody paid for it. I grew up going to Shipshewana up in the Amish country to the flea market with my grandparents, and occasionally my mom and dad would go, and it just always fascinated me, the stuff that people would take there and sell, and people just go crazy over it. I always wanted to make things and sell them, make metal art and sell it, but just never followed through with it. Maybe I should have. make some things for some family members. My grandma was always into that stuff, you know. Weld something up that looked goofy to me, and she'd put it out in the landscaping and just absolutely love it. I called them question pieces because always everybody's like, what the hell is that? I don't know. Something I tack welded together and put out in grandma's landscaping. She liked it. I gotta be careful how long I make this video today, because kind of low on storage space again from planting hay yesterday. I got the videos there, and I didn't get it all edited last night, so some of it's still in the phone. So I did have a viewer ask me why when I come to this side of the ditch, I don't just roll that right up the edge and bring it up to me, because the reason for that is I don't want to destroy the sod that is established on the bank. I'd rather stop at the bottom and not peel any more than I have to, so that sod will stay there and stay attached and keep the banks from washing out. That's why sometimes I kind of get a little bit of a ledge down there, which is not going to hurt anything. I'd rather leave that little ledge than end up with a bank sloughing in. And also, I had a viewer, they were concerned with the amount of water that was left in the ditch on the one project. And you got to remember that the water is flowing slowly. It's moving. You just can't a lot of times see it, but it is moving, and it's moving at a large volume. So it's not that it's just sitting there, it's just not moving very fast. And also, it allows for water to seep out of the ground and go to an area of less resistance to flow out. So not all ditches are going to be just trickling dry by the time I'm done digging. Some are going to be a little bit of a reservoir, but that's okay, because they're still taking water, they're still doing their job, they're allowing the water to run to a lower point than what it would be out in the field, if that makes sense. It's the path of least resistance. It's kind of like the way voltage flows. Whoop, wrong way. I have had ditches, though, that once I clean them, they're down to just a little stream in the bottom. But, like, ditches like this, especially being a pump ditch, it won't ever be dry unless the pump sucks it dry. And especially at the river right there. This good and clean down here by this pump, because it's going to do nothing but draw more mud towards it. Hey, we're getting a little rain on the windshield. Alright, so story time about Don and my dad. So years ago, Kmart used to sell their executive cars at the store. Cars that executives and CEOs and whatever of Kmart would drive for so many miles, and then they would put them on the bulletin board or put them out in the parking lot for sale. Well, one night my dad and Don got out of welding school. They went to Ivy Tech in Valparaiso, Indiana, and Dad was a certified welder after going to school. So anyways, before he become a Ford mechanic. So anyways, Don and Dad go to Kmart. Don sees this black Dodge Charger out in the parking lot, car for sale. And he goes in, he finds out that it can be bought. So he gets all the information he needs to buy it, comes back the next day, and his parents came with, met him after school. They done a deal, and his parents accidentally took the paperwork home with them from the car. Well, they went on to eat dinner and stuff, and my dad and Don, they went to welding school and got out of welding school, and I guess it was after, they got it before they went to welding school. Anyways, messed around in Valpo for a while and then decided to head home. Well, they're going down 30, and a state trooper pulls Don over and wants to see the paperwork on this car. Don's like, well, I bought it from Kmart. And state trooper did not believe the story. And he's like, well, did you get it on a blue light special, or what's the deal? And Don tried to explain to him, and he still wouldn't believe it or whatnot. So mind you, his parents are already home for the night, probably in bed, because you know these young guys back then are out pissing around till late at night. So my dad stopped also, so that made him an accessory to the so-called crime of supposedly stealing his car because they didn't have no paperwork on it. So they ended up having to go to jail over this. So Don calls his parents, got them out of bed, and finally got them out of bed, got them to come there and show the paperwork that he legitimately bought the car, and then they were able to get out of jail. So that was the first time and the only time I believe my father has ever been to jail. I myself have never been to jail. I've made it 35 years and I've never been to jail. I don't think they actually officially threw him in jail cells or anything. I think they just detained them until they found out the information on his car. If my dad wouldn't have stopped, he would have never been an accessory to the crime, and he could have just went on. He should have just drove on and drove straight to Don's parents' house and told them what happened to go get Don out of jail. But I thought that was a funny story. I guess I never raised as much hell as my parents did. Another funny story was one night my grandpa Ed, my mom's dad, was on the Stark County Sheriff's Department, and one night my mom and dad were in the high school parking lot with dad's truck doing donuts, and a city cop pulls in and told them that they better stop. And he leans over and he sees my mom and he says, now what would your dad think of you being up here doing donuts in the parking lot and raising hell? She's like, he'd probably get in his truck and come do them with us. And my dad's like, Vicky, shut up, you're gonna get us in trouble even more. Oh, I thought that was funny. My grandparents used to live in town when my mom was growing up, and this was back in the 80s. My grandpa would tell her, you go down to the gas station, you get me some cigarettes, and you come right back. Well, my mom would go take a few laps around town, and then she'd eventually come back home when she was supposed to drive straight down there and come right back. She got yelled at by a city cop one time, and that's how Grandpa found out that she was just out joyriding. I was mild compared to my parents growing up. I've had speeding tickets and things like that, but never gotten too much trouble. I was going to building trades one morning, real early in the morning. I was coming through town, and state trooper pulls me over, walks up. I open my window, he walks up, reaches in, turns my headlight switch on, says, you have a nice day. went back, got his car, and left. Like, well, that was nice of him. It was one of them mornings where the street lights were bright enough that, and the sun was coming up, but it was still too dark out to not have your headlights on. I had all my rest of my lights on, but I didn't have my headlights on. Well, that was nice of him. He could have wrote me a ticket or something, but... And see, that's when cops are doing their job to serve and protect, you know, and not being just out to write tickets. Sometimes just kind of write tickets for, I feel, foolish things when they could have just give you a stern talking to, and I think the stern talking to would have went farther than the actual ticket. That was always my grandpa's thing when he's on the sheriff's department. He would give you a good lecture, and he always said that good lecture was better than writing a citation. It did more because it was more of a mental, you really got a good, basically you got your butt spanked mentally, where that ticket just kind of, you know, you paid it and went away. But I guess things were different back then. Alright, I'm going to keep digging. We'll make some video later on. This is going to be about the same thing all the way through. I might come up with another good story for you. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But so far, thank you for watching if you made it this far in the video. I think this is my last fairly good size ditch to dip. I thought I was going to get a little more off of that one side, but better taking a half a bucket than leaving a strip. So anyways, I think this is the last ditch project I got to do. We've got some pipe and wire to put in for a friend of mine. Get that done for irrigation. And then it's going to be farming for a while. Get some crops in. I want to get some soybeans planted. I wanted to be planting beans by now, but we've just still had some cold nights. I got a friend of mine, Ryan. He's had some soybeans planted for about 2.5 weeks now, and they're growing. It's just we were really hoping to see probably some warmer weather by now for them, but he's always pushing the plant date earlier and earlier every year just to see what he can get away with. I always tell myself I'm going to have them in by April 15th, and I just never seem to hit that target. Alright, I'm going to keep digging. Well, so far so good. Everything's going smooth. Pretty sloppy. Levels out nice. Oh, and yes, I did just walk an excavator with my hands. Oh, put me in jail. I committed a cardinal sin. I have to laugh because I'll see on Facebook or something, you know, somebody be like, he's not a real operator. He just walked that excavator with his hands. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a comfort thing. I sit here with my legs crossed under the seat. I don't know what it is, but it just makes my back feel better. I don't know if it relieves tension and muscles in my back or what. But I've got friends that sit the same way and run excavators, and they say, well, it's just comfortable for them. You know, and instead of uncrossing my feet every time, I even run tractors that way. You know, if I'm in long rows, you know, I'll end up crossing my feet if I don't have to push a clutch in or anything like that. I got friends that do the same thing. Then you see guys on Facebook, well, you know, that's not the way you run an excavator, or they just take the track levers completely out because they say they're in their way. That's just like the whole, well, if you run an excavator backhoe pattern, you're not an operator. Oh, give me a break. The reason I run them backhoe styles, that's because that's how I learned. And that's how my dad's always run them, because that first excavator he ever ran was the John Deere 690B, and that's backhoe style. And instead of trying to teach an old dog new tricks, we just adopted his style, and that's what I run them. Now I can run them the other direction. It's no big deal for me. But I just stay this pattern. Works just fine. Gets the job done, and at the end of the day, it's still the same production. Production's production. Doesn't make me any slower at digging or grading or anything else. Well, that's my rant for the day. I don't know what it is though, but it is comfortable to sit for a while with the feet crossed. It's probably got something to do with the, what do they call that in your back, the sciatic nerve or whatever. Just kind of takes pressure off of it. Who knows? They also say if you have sciatic nerve problem, you should lay with a tennis ball between your legs and pinch it, and that helps relieve that nerve. There, I put my feet back on the pedals. We'll get something done. I don't know. There's some of these Facebook operators. And apparently I'm not a good operator because I didn't win the operators competition. Oh, I gotta laugh. Oh well. I'm still a lot of people on YouTube's favorite operator, I know. Am I the best? No, I am not the best by no means. There are guys out there that have never been photographed, never videoed, never nothing, and they are way better operators than a lot of the guys on YouTube. Now, don't get me wrong, there are good operators on YouTube. I'm not saying there's not. I'm just saying that there are more out there that are never seen. It's like that whole saying, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around, does it make a sound? Well, we have confirmed that a bear shits in the woods because we've seen pictures of that. Soft here, but it's not muck. I don't know if maybe there's a little muck under it or what. Oh, I got a comment that I can address right now. I thought about this. I had a viewer that was concerned with how close I put the spoil to the edge of the ditch on the last ditch project or last video I had uploaded. And yes, that spoil was a little tight to the side of the ditch there. But the reason for that is I know that some of them farmers are picky through that area, and they don't really want that much sand spread out in the field. So there's kind of a small easement along there that I was trying to keep it on as much as I could. We did go through with the dozer and we rolled a lot of that over away from the ditch. But I kept it tight for that very reason, just so nobody got upset. I have in the past went and taken the dozer and rolled it away, and have had farmers get upset and had to take the dozer back and roll it back towards the ditch against my better judgment. So you got to try to take everybody's feelings into considerations on some of these projects. Most farmers, they don't care. They'll just come in, they'll disc it, chisel plow it, work it right in, plant it. Because you kind of know that your corn along the ditch is going to be a little lesser yield just because there's sand from years of of cleaning the ditch. It's just kind of a given. But some just think that you keep adding and adding and it's going to cause more problems. But does it really? No. It's going to be the same as it's been for the last 30 years prior, really. Because you got to remember also, when these ditches were dug, none of this dirt was hauled off originally. It was just graded off each way of the ditch. So they're already made out of, or there's already bank material there from down deep that wasn't very nutritious to begin with. It's pretty sloppy right here. It's pretty wide. Just dip what we can. Kind of try to judge by the mud I've got on the bank as to what I'm taking out. The goal is to drop it so that when the pump pumps, it can get as much water as possible. And you can see, like, right up here, straight out from my cutter edge, is where that water usually is when the pump's not running. So we're lowering the bottom of the ditch tremendously, just taking out what we are. A lot of this sediment that's in these ditches, a lot of it's wind erosion. It's not so much the bank slopping in, it's just the wind blowing across this flat ground. It's, you know, I don't care how many corn stalks you leave on it, and that's some of it too, is it's corn stalks, corn leaves that have gotten in the ditch and they turn into soupy, muddy stuff. They're organic, they'll break down. And then, you know, I don't care how much corn stalks or soybean stubble you have, there's still some dirt that's going to blow in the wind and end up in the ditch. When you have mint, that's a highly wind eroded crop due to the fact that you plow it, you moldboard plow it under, and if you don't get rye planted on it or oats planted on it, it'll blow. I mean, I've dug a lot of ditch through mint fields that have had a lot of topsoil blown in them. My cousins, they came up with a better way. They figured out that if you use a high-speed disc and disc it deep in the fall, it rolls it enough that it'll winter through the winter and come back in the spring. And the high-speed disc doesn't make it as fluffy as a moldboard plow does, because it packs it down behind it, and that helps it to keep it from blowing. They've been doing that for a couple of years now. What we used to do is we'd moldboard plow it late in the fall, turn it over, and then we would spread the mint plumage from the harvested mint crop the year before. We would spread it in strips over it in the areas that we knew were going to blow, and that would really help reduce it from blowing, but it wasn't perfect. We would spread it 50%, you know, every other strip would not be spread on the stuff that didn't blow as bad. The stuff like the sandhill knobs, things like that, we'd go and spread it 100%, completely cover it. I put a lot of mint plumage through a New Holland 195 manure spreader. I thought it was pretty cool that Big Tractor Power had done a video on the 195 spreaders, because I've spread a lot with one. My dad added sideboards to them to make them hold more. We would load them with a John Deere 4850 with a Western North loader, and we pulled the two spreaders. One we pulled with a 4955, And then the other, we pulled the John Deere 8300. I don't know if we ever put the 7400 on one. We may have, I can't remember. Two I remember running the most is the 8300 and the 4955. I miss the mint days. That's one crop that if I could get into farming myself, I would get into it, but it costs so much money to get into. And now with mint production in China and India, they're growing it up in the mountains. They're making little distilleries and they're distilling oil and flooding the U.S. market with it. It just, you can't compete. Somebody's over on the road stalking me. Alright, I'm gonna keep digging. I should get across the road here pretty soon. Come to my favorite part, digging up to the culvert to see how much we dropped it. How much fall we get. We're gonna empty it out, I know that. Got to jump on the other side of the road, dig a short section, and then I am done here. Didn't take me very long. Be out of here by noon. That time is not right, so you can't go off of that. I need to reset that time. I just never have. Going to clean the culvert out. Oh yeah. Got water flowing now. When that pump kicks on, it'll suck it down. So right now the water is about 16 inches over the top of the pump, so it'll draw it down quite a bit. Alright, I'll hop to the other side, get that dug, and then I'm out of here. Well, I'm going to dip a few snags out down here first. Well, if you're wondering what happened to the Dodge Charger, Don was driving one night, came over a hill, and a big old pig had gotten out of a farmyard. And he was standing in the middle of the road, and that bacon got smoked by the Dodge Charger. And it totaled the car. Car was junk after that. I guess a pig is a pretty solid animal to hit at a high rate of speed. It's probably going to wipe some stuff out, I would imagine. I'd like to say that the pig wandered off and lived a happy life, but no, the pig was done after that. So that's the story of the Dodge Charger. I ended up finding out that they wanted this part of the ditch dug also. They decided to have me dig it, so I jumped across the road, and I'm actually in a whole different county right now. So we'll get this finished up. So working in 2 counties in one day. I have worked in 4 different counties on one day. There is a spot over by Walkerton where 4 counties meet, and I have worked on all 4 corners in one day. That was interesting. I just find it amusing. So plow day is April 26th, coming up here soon. The unfortunate part about that was Harding's Heavy Equipment is having their open house for their Elwood, Illinois store, and I was going to attend that. Well, I can't cancel plow day. There's too many guys that have been really wanting to plow. I feel bad about it, but I'm going to be going to plow day. Well, we might have a dinner with the higher-ups of Hyundai that are going to be at the grand opening. So, going to probably do that the night before, get to meet them, talk to them. I really want to thank Harding's Heavy Equipment for all the opportunities that they've given me. You know, they've represented me to no end, you know, between the fair and all that stuff. And Dave has really pushed my channel and gotten me places, especially with Hyundai as a company. You know, I got to go to the operators competition and all that, so I really appreciate them, and I really wish that I could be at their open house. I feel bad that I'm not there representing them. So if it does rain, I will be at the open house, but if it doesn't rain, I'll be at plow day. Which I don't want to cancel plow day because I know there's a lot of guys that are really, really wanting to come. And so am I. I really want to plow. It's one of those things that Hyundai will probably forget about me in the next 5 years anyways, because it's not like I'm their favorite brand ambassador. We all know who that is. Probably even got Hyundai underwear. I really want to get involved with the Baumalite company, and that's another company that Harding's deal with their equipment. I'd really like to try to get one of their stand-on track loaders out, mini skid steers. I think that'd be really handy to have around, especially with my little 17Z9A Mini. I'd like to thank Hyundai for the opportunities I've gotten with them also. They've taken pretty good care of me, I will say that. They let me reprogram their mid-size excavators to make them more like I wanted them to be. The only thing they haven't gotten me yet is a long reach counterweight for the 220. I want to try the counterweight of a long reach on this 220 to compensate for the heavy work brow thumb and quick coupler and running a bigger bucket dip and ditch. I think that would really make an animal out of this machine. I mean, it's tough now, but I think it could be made tougher. Kind of dynamite in a small package, basically. Kind of on the fence about just buying a long reach counterweight myself, just ordering one, just because I'm really curious to see how much difference it would make. Ooh, that's a soft spot there. But there's also a lot of mud in the ditch right there. It's pretty sloppy through here. I'm not really feeling the bottom too much. I wonder if this was dug extremely deep at one time or something. I don't know. Something strange right there. I have to go back through and dip out all the floaters that we got. Alright, I'm going to keep digging. We're almost to the end. sloppy. Better not make this video too long. I'm not going to have enough storage space to edit it. Well, we made it to the end. I'll pull up here and we're going to go get some lunch. We'll come back, get the excavator, and we'll get out of here. So, thanks for watching. Greatly appreciate it. I will see you all in the next one. Remember, kids, if your buddy gets pulled over, don't stop and try to help him. Just go on home. Because if you're going to stop, you're probably going to end up going to jail with him. You're going to be an accomplice or an accessory to the crime. Even though there never was a crime, it was just a misunderstanding and a lack of paperwork with him at the time. So, thanks for watching.